Right, morning.
Morning. How are
How are we?
you?
All good, thank you. All good.
Good, good.
Dried up a little bit now. It was a bit wet again this morning, raining and whatever, but we're
Oh
dry
no,
now.
it's dry here today. I cancelled work yesterday. I was a bit cross,
Yeah, yeah,
but I can't grumble. My group venue is inside this year, so it's made such a difference
yeah,
already. And I did feel smug or whatever the right word is,
yeah, yeah.
that I was able to carry on teaching indoors, and not once have I had to look at the weather. So that's really nice. But yeah, privates are at the field, so I cancelled yesterday and had a duvet day.
Yeah. Oh well, it happens. It happens. It
It
is what it is.
does happen, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah,
And winter is coming and the clocks are going back.
back. Yeah, that's it. Oh, grand finals weekend just been and
Yes,
gone.
grand finals. I went up on Friday.
Okay.
Um, I love the event, Stuart. I was
Yeah,
dreading it. I say I was dreading it. There was two things going on. I wasn't massively motivated this year.
yeah,
And also I was dealing with my nerves, which I mean, I think getting nervous is a healthy thing
yeah, yeah,
on an
yeah,
event.
yeah,
But I was kind of nervous about everything, nervous about the drive, nervous about just putting myself into a high profile event again.
yeah,
Um, after my short hospital stay
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
everything else that was going, I wasn't sure that it was the right thing for me, but we did it. I'm so lucky because it's an hour and 20 from me.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so I
yeah.
had my road trip. I had Candice with me. She came along with me, took
Good.
all the dogs. I think it's just so funny that we just played the dogs in the van and they're like, where are we going?
Yeah, yeah. They just get in the van and then we open the doors. They're at another place doing another thing, and they're just okay. That's fine. It's what we do.
It's what we do. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, Kip knew something was going on. He had his posh collar on, so he knew
it is
something
funny.
was
They
going
do. I think dogs do notice a little bit of a difference. We were saying that the other day with our dogs. Like if we're going for a walk, for instance, they seem to have a completely different attitude to what they do when we're setting up to go for a show.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I
getting
guess
up,
it's the
you know,
persona, isn't it? The
yeah,
persona that we've got.
yeah, yeah. I think so. I don't know. They just see they, when we're going for a walk, they're super excited. They're ready to go for a walk or whatever. But when we're going for a show, they seem to be a lot more chilled out, relaxed. And they just let us get on with loading the van and doing our thing and whatever, and then they just pop in
Yeah,
the van and away we
and
go.
they almost know that actually it's not our time to go in the van yet.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
But young Bethany, she doesn't like traveling particularly well, and when I'm going in show, that I'll always find her in a crate. Always
yeah,
find her in a crate. She's like, "Leave me
yeah.
here."
A couple of hours. The ones that are slightly older, they're a little bit like that. They're sort of like, we have to go again. You know,
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
not
We
even.
don't do anything anymore. We
Yeah,
don't get sausages to take a picture or anything
yeah.
like
That's it.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
cool.
they definitely know where they're going, don't they?
Yeah, I think
And
so.
then yeah, so yeah, I went along. A lovely event. CSJ I was in.
Yeah.
Nerves were, by my standards, I was really shocked at how physical the nerves came out.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was physically shaking, which is something that I've never done before. Well,
Okay.
I say never done. I think I probably did, probably at the very first time,
Yeah, yeah,
that which would have been the grand finals.
yeah.
But there was a moment where I was totally in awe of Kip, really, because I was competing against somebody that I was competing against in the beginner steeplechase with both our dogs.
Okay. Yeah, yeah,
And he said to me, he was like, "How old are our dogs now?" And it's like, they're now 7, and they
yeah,
started off that event in the beginner steeplechase,
yeah,
coming
yeah.
up for 8 years of age, and you're like, wow, these. Oh, God, I'm really emotional. But these
Yeah.
dogs owe us nothing, Stuart.
Yeah,
They
exactly. And you look back about,
absolutely
like you
nothing.
say, where we've been, what we've done, the conditions we've put them under, and all the bits and pieces that go with it, and yet they're still happy to get on the start line and do whatever they're,
Yeah,
whatever they do.
and I think these dogs, particularly, because sort of dealing with COVID, and here we go.
Yeah, dogs are off
they're,
again.
they're playing now.
That's all right.
Maya, stop. Yeah, they. Come here, come here. They get on the start line and they owe us nothing, and they've had to deal with COVID, they've had to deal with the emotions of everything,
Yeah,
etc., etc. And it was a real humbling moment that actually this was an event for me this year that meant so much, but not as the event, if that makes sense. So I really didn't care whether we got eliminated on the first fence. I really didn't. It was about, you know, putting myself back out there. Should I be doing it? You know, I've got a couple of other things planned over the coming month that I'm like, ooh, or I was. And I saw Ian, and he was like, oh my God, you beat me in the beginner's steeplechase. And I was like, yeah, right. And I'm trying to deal with my nerves. And I was like, wow, Kip, you're just amazing. And I did. And I stood out there, and as always, the ring party is so important to you, aren't they? You know, they were like, you know, walk you to the first jump, calm you down a little bit, and off you go. And he didn't get dog walk contact while I was out there. He popped out the weaves a couple of times, and it kind of showed where our training is at the moment. You know, we're not sharp. We're training, so he's fit, but I'm not sharpening up. So, you know, that's what I need to work on now. But you know, the good news was I came home, I printed off the qualifiers for next year, and you know, I was like, oh, okay, I might try and go to champion at Tunbridge in December. So it has motivated me.
Good.
And by the time, go on.
So how did you deal with the nerve? You said that obviously this time you were a lot sort of more nervous, or as nervous as you were the first time. How did you deal with that? How did you get over that?
Okay, so
or did you just get out there and do it anyway?
No, I did try and calm myself down because my breathing was very erratic, and so I took, I think, kind of, it's like getting back on a horse, isn't it? You know, you think these things that we do as standard when we're going to champ, we're feeling nervous anyway, but we're not as nervous, and so it was standard stuff. So I walk him first, and I go and warm him up, and I focus on his warm up and my warm up, and that's the brain away from the nervousness. So then that naturally slows the breathing down, and then I did lots of breathing. I do lots of breathing, and then just turn my focus on him. And I think it was Ian's comment, you know, it's what we've said before, Stuart. It's people don't realise that one sentence can have an impact.
Yeah, good or bad. You know? Absolutely.
Yeah, good. Yeah, all he said to me was, "Wow, our dogs were in the beginner's steeplechase together," and I'm like, oh my God, Kippy, you know, I owe it to you to get my shit together, really. And then I have to watch the on the warm-up jump, I have to watch that he's not too close and all the rest of it. And I just focused on him. And by the time I settled down, you know, someone looked at my videos and they were like, you didn't even seem nervous. So, you know, but I felt it. And about halfway through, I think it was when he missed his dog walk contact. I was like, oh, I was like, and then you realise, well, actually, it does matter because I've just gone like, oh, okay. But I settled down, and then the second, I did get through to the final. I was shocked that I'd got through to the final. And the final, I just went out and enjoyed it, Stuart. You know, I was like, I've earned my place. We're not firing. Let's just go and enjoy it. And I think the one thing I really noticed this time was how tired the adrenaline made me feel. Definitely. You know, they say that adrenaline come down is a real thing. And kind of being in, you know, I wouldn't say that I'm not in a weaker place, but I'm definitely not, you know, in a place where I'm firing on all cylinders at the moment. So I noticed the adrenaline come down yesterday. Definitely, I felt very tired and felt a little bit that like my mood was slipping a little bit. So that's when the dogs got there, like, hang on a minute, this isn't a show. What's going on? And I looked out and it was pouring, and I'm like, best place to be right now is the beach. And I loaded them in the van, and I got there and they were like, where are we?
another place, something else to do.
Exactly. What I've got to live in their best lives. And we had a really lovely walk along the beach, and it just lifted my mood. And so really, really lovely. I hope obviously this was the last one under Greg and Laura, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So
So
I hope
hopefully
it will
that the
carry
new,
on.
yeah, I think so. I think there was some talk about obviously the qualifiers being sort of relisted after, I think it's after the 1st of November. I think the official
Yeah, I think they're waiting
handover.
for their show dates as well before they give out the
Yeah,
qualifiers.
because obviously with a changeover and things like that, as everything does when you change over from any big company, really, you know, some of the shows might not go ahead. Some of the show managers might choose to hang up their boots as well, and you know, we
Yeah,
don't
maybe
know.
we'll get some new ones. Because
Maybe
we're really short of UKA shows down in our corner.
I think we're short of UKA shows in general because it's a hard one. Even though it's been going for what was it, 15 years? I think it was something like that.
Is it?
I think it's about 15 years. It's a hard competition now, I think. I mean, it was hard anyway against just competing, going against the Kennel Club or working with the Kennel Club in that respect, not against, that's we're all in the same boat, but the Kennel Club's a massive organization, been going for years and years and years. The agility's been going for 30, 40 years, whatever that is. And then for UKA to come along and do something alongside that slightly different, giving people more options, giving whatever, it took age. It's going to take years and years for people to understand that they can do both.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I
I
still,
love.
even now, so let's say at the end of Greg and Laura's tenure on it, whatever you want to say, even now, people still are either Kennel Club or UKA.
Do you
There
think
aren't,
so?
there
See,
aren't
I thought
many,
that.
still aren't many that at Kennel Club that go to UKA as well. It's still a smaller.
Yes,
I think.
yeah, I definitely think you're right. I mean, I try and do both. I try and support
Yeah.
UKA. The reason I try and support UKA so much is because I think it does so much for our young dogs and our inexperienced handlers. So if I've got an inexperienced handler coming out and I feel that they're going to benefit, excuse me, from competing or not competing, from going and doing the NFC runs and everything, I'll always try and find them, you know, independent shows. The trouble is that I've got down here, as I said before, is the distance. So trying to say to somebody, right, you've got to drive 3 hours and now go NFC and reward your dog is hard. But the fact of the matter is, you know, you've got the any size, you've got, you know, nursery. So I'll be looking, I hope, you know, obviously I've got to wait the same as anyone else, see what the format's going to be. But, you know, it's all about Nairobi coming out next year. So she and me are experienced enough that I don't think she'll need rewarding in the ring for the beginner steeplechase, but I'll use the nursery and that sort of thing to sort out her contacts and, you know, reward her in the ring in that way, but I still get to compete. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I hope they keep the finals.
I mean, UKA for me, I like the fact that you've got a mixture of things that you can do as well. Like you've got a steeplechase, you know, and you've got your performance as well. So you've got the games and all the different things.
I love the games.
So it's something a little bit sort of different as well, that you can go and test a few different skills in and change it up a little bit if you need to.
I mean, I'm assuming they'll bring their own, you know, stuff to it, won't they?
Yeah, I hope so. And you know, maybe it does just need that little bit of
good luck.
Yeah, maybe it needs that little bit of fresh air. Maybe it needs that little bit of sort of, you know, the fire stoking a little bit and just saying, right, this is what we're going to do from now. It might change, it might not, but I think they should do okay. I mean, there's plenty of us around.
I wish them the world of luck.
Plenty of us around that still want and need UKA around to do what we need to do as well, which is
I think
from a business point of view as well. I feel that UKA is a good selling point from an agility trainer's point of view, because it's where we can convince people about training in the ring and convince people about consistency and all that sort of stuff. And I know at Kennel Club you still get people who train in the ring. We redo our contacts, we redo our bits and pieces that we need to do.
So I think it's rewarding.
But we can't reward.
It's the rewarding in the ring, isn't it? I mean, we do have we've got quite a lot of good independent shows around by me that kind of come out in the winter, which is good for that sort of thing as well. So Yeah, no, you know, the event was lovely. Hopefully, selfishly, they'll keep it at Luton.
Yeah,
Nice little journey for me, little hour and 20 minutes. I was home by 3.
yeah, perfect, perfect, perfect. Yeah,
So,
because those the grand finals can be long days, can't they? If they, you know, when you're, especially if your
well,
last
they
event is.
changed it to 3 days.
Yeah, yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
Yeah, and it worked well. I mean, I was in the CSJ final, and geez, there's such a well-oiled cog, isn't it? It was like, yeah, you're walking this, yeah, you're walking that. You know, the contact equipment didn't move throughout the whole. You know, the judges were phenomenal, really, and I know that's what they're briefed on these big
yeah,
events,
yeah,
isn't it? Is the next judge leads the contact equipment, and they have to build their course around that. So,
yeah.
but yeah, I was home by 3:30, and you know, even watching the results coming through on the Masters yesterday, and who got, you know, the win-ons and that sort of thing, even they were done early.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming the ring part, hopefully the ring party, must cost them more money doing it like that, but hopefully they
An
wouldn't
extra
have
day, an
worked
extra
so
day of
hard.
hire, yeah, must be a little bit more expensive. But I suppose it's got to be about a little bit more about the competitors. I suppose you've got to make it um, as smooth and as easy as possible for the competitors, I
Well,
suppose.
it's hard. I mean, we've spoken about profile events before, haven't we? You know, they've got the
Yeah,
cost of the venue. They need to keep the agility competitors happy. They need to keep spectators happy. They need
yeah,
to run a business. They need to do all of those things.
yeah,
Um, and it's tough. You know, that's
yeah,
juggling so many different balls. And most of these big profile events are companies
yeah,
that need to earn money.
yeah, yeah. And I think there's quite a lot of events, whether you believe it or not. I mean, I've run events, I've run shows and agility shows. I just not even big events, just agility shows and stuff. And I know, you know, we've lost money on so many different things. So I can imagine a big event like that. You know, all the bigger events, they don't make money on
No,
whether you believe it or not. I don't. They don't make money on
I
those.
don't think they do. No.
You know, it's just about having that sort of prestige event at the end of the year for your company. Really, is like a celebration, I suppose, for everybody's hard work.
Yeah.
Whether that be the competitors, shows, you know, UKA as a business, whatever that is you want to see. It's just an
Yeah.
end of the year going, right, look what we've done this year. You know, this is you know, almost a celebration of that sort of stuff, I think.
Yeah, yeah. And credit to Greg and Laura that they kept it going for as long as they did, you know.
Yeah,
And
absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
I personally, and I think a lot of people, you know, would do the same, that, you know, wishing them well in whatever they decide to do, and
Yeah, yeah,
wishing
absolutely.
the new owners well
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
UKA.
And like you
And
say, fingers crossed they carry on with hopefully with some sort of finals event at the end of the year.
yeah,
I think
yeah, that'd be lovely.
might be a different format, but I think there does need to be something.
Yeah.
But again, it's a struggle, isn't it? Because you've
Is
got
that peer pressure, Stuart?
maybe. Yeah,
I
but you've got it's a struggle
agree.
though. I
I
think with
agree.
big events because you've got things now because you've got BAC out there. You know, you've got the grand finals, you've got Olympia, you've got Crufts, you've got so there's so many big events at the end or the beginning of the season. Hard to get, you know, for everybody to do everything. I think.
Yeah, yeah. Are you at the Olympia semis this year?
No, we didn't. I didn't do any of the sort of qualifiers because Riggs was coming up the grades,
Right.
trying to get him up the grades, and I concentrated this year on obviously IFCS um, down at Fab shows and stuff. So I concentrated on them this year. So that's for that, and then for next year, I don't know if I can do. I've got 3 more wins to get to grade 7, and if I can get to grade,
Right.
if I get to grade 7 by the beginning of the next year, then I'll look at champs for next year probably.
Yeah, I think my eyes are on Champ. You know, I mean, he has been called up to the Olympia semis, and I
Yeah,
am going to go. But
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you got to, haven't you?
yeah, you need to do something about your dog walk contact, mate. And I hadn't realised it's this weekend. I thought I had another 2 weekends, so it's like, oh well, it is what it is,
It
isn't
is what it
it?
is. You can get a bit of practice in this week, and then if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
Oh yeah, and I've been practicing anyway. He's running it under pressure. That's what I think. He's got a little bit lazy in his old age.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And because we haven't done sort of big events properly
I haven't. I
for
haven't.
for a year or so. So it's
Yeah,
you know,
yeah. But he's not. I say he's not an Olympia dog. He got there and he went clear, and you know everything else. So you know, he's phenomenal, and I don't want to take anything away from him, but
Got to be in there
you
the same
know,
as everybody else you got there. So
yeah, exactly that. So yeah, but it's not something I would drive around the country for next year.
no.
And I think I've learned a lot of lessons with my own personal agility as well. So yeah, definitely champ, and seeing what UKA are bringing for my
Yeah, I
new
mean,
job
let's see
out.
what they do for next year. Yeah, absolutely. You
Yeah,
don't know, it might be a really good year for us all round, hopefully.
yeah, it'd be nice.
Be a
Yeah, and then
bit more variety.
we'll see this little one in the ring.
Yeah, absolutely.
Excellent. Well, you have
Yeah.
a good week.
Yeah, you have a good week, and we'll catch up again soon, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. See
And
you soon.
good luck with all the Olympia semi-finals next
Are
week.
you at back? Your British agility?
Yes.
I'll see you there. I'll
Yeah,
see you
see
there.
you
We're
there.
going there.
Yeah, perfect. Right. See
Good.
you
All right.
soon.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.